Listen, if it's one thing that I'm pretty sure we're all aware of is that life is out here moving fast, okay? It's a lot going on. We got society telling us what we should be doing, we should be, all while we're still trying to figure ourselves out. But you know what we can do? We can be mindful of where we are in this present moment and take small steps towards becoming better by the day and towards reaching our God-given purpose. So let's figure it out and work through it together. Welcome to Mindful Moments, y'all. A space where we talk it out, laugh it out, cry it out, hash it out. Listen, just get it all out, okay? This is a safe space for you, where we talk about the ups, the downs, even the in-betweens. A place where we go through it so we can grow through it. Tune in every week as we fill our minds with who we're destined to be, with positivity, with awareness, and honestly, just with love. So I encourage you, let's be mindful of today in hopes for, yes, a better you, but also in hopes for a better tomorrow. Again, welcome to Mindful Moments. Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Moments. I'm your host, Jada Lowe. And let me tell y'all something. It feels so good to be back. I'm back in the building. For y'all, it didn't feel like a long time, but for me, in retrospect, not a long time, but like I do bulk recording sometimes. So I hadn't recorded in a good little minute. And so like I'm back and it feels good. It feels swell. It feels well. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. How are y'all feeling? How are y'all doing? How y'all looking? How's life going? A few episodes ago, we did a mid-year check-in. So did y'all check in with yourself? How did that go? Just what's life looking like for you? So in this episode, I want us to slow down, Jada. Get your bearings straight. Y'all, we are at episode 12. Episode 12? That's wild. Wild. And that's an accomplishment for me because it's like some podcasts don't get past episode 2. And that's like, I'm just grateful. We'll talk about that on another episode. But for today, I kind of felt like I really wanted to talk to y'all about this. And you know how I say whenever I'm telling y'all something, I'm kind of telling myself the same thing in a way, or it's something that I've talked to myself and God through, like I've talked that through and it's helped me. So I want to send it to y'all to help y'all. So today's episode, we're going to discuss peace with your pace. Peace with your pace. So having peace with your journey, your race, what your race looks like for you, seeing other people run their race and how that can be a distraction and just maneuvering through that, okay? And aside from that, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are doing good. For me, I'm not going to cap on you or to you. I'm tired. I am today in particular. My energy is just a little, like I'm just tired. I want to take a nap, but I'll take one after. I'm just a little tired, not in a funk or nothing. Like I'm just like energy tired, not drained, but like give me a nap and some water and a turkey sandwich and some fruit type tired. You know, like heat tired. It's 94 degrees. It's somewhere in the 80s and 90s in Georgia. And you know, when you step outside and you just want to go back in, that's the type of tired. That's the type of tired I am. But we pushing through. So we're going to talk about peace within, or peace in your pace. And so I want y'all to think, like, as we go through this episode, I want y'all to think about what peace means to you and what peace looks like for you in particular. How do you know when you have peace, and what does pace look like for you? I'm not talking about rushing. I'm not talking about being like lackadaisical or slow, but like when you're in a good stride in life and you feel like you're making good headway, what does that pace look like for you, and what does life look like for you when you're at that pace? And I feel like it's important to be at peace with your pace. We have the main thing, y'all know I talk about it all the time. The main thing is probably like social media and the internet. You see everybody else running their race at what appears to be their pace based off of what they display. And so it can make you question like if the hard work you're doing, if the work you're putting in, if this success and this better version of yourself that you're trying to attain, if you are making good progress towards that. And sometimes when we look at social media and just like other people and hear from other people, you can easily get discouraged. And I just want us to talk about how to just develop a sense of tunnel vision, yes, but more so like an internal peace with our individual journey. And so why is it important to be at peace with your pace? I believe it helps you to appreciate your journey. Very cliche, but so true. Life is short, and we're all put here for a reason. God has put each and every one of us here for a reason. So if we're so busy looking around at what other people have going on, we'll miss the things that he's given us to see, the things he's given us to pick up along the way to help us build up endurance to keep going in our journey and to eventually ultimately reach the finish line, right? So I believe it's important to have that peace so that you can be grateful and appreciative of not where you're going, but the process of what it takes to get there. And I didn't really realize this until like I was kind of taking like my notes down for this episode, but it's very easy to get caught up in where we want to be, to where we lose sight of really what it took to get there. And I'm really starting to understand the essence of embrace your journey, and not just embrace it, but appreciate it, because there are beautiful things. Yes, there may be detours. Yes, there may be hiccups. Yes, you may trip or whatever, but ultimately, like, there are some beautiful things to see as you're, running your journey, or just as you're in your pace, so to speak. And y'all will hear me using like a lot of different analogies and stuff as it relates to a race in particular. So just keep that in mind so I won't lose you. Another thing, another reason why I believe it's important too is because it helps you to assess at times when we're, when we're going through our journey and maneuvering through it. Sometimes you have to see, okay, what's working and what's not working. What can I do to not necessarily rush the journey, but what can I do to run more efficiently? What stops can I take to regroup and readjust? So, of course, be appreciative, learn how to assess on your journey. And I believe the biggest thing for me is when I feel like you're at peace with your pace, it takes the worry out of it. I won't say I used to, but I've gotten a lot better at just being cognizant of like what I'm thinking, more specifically like overthinking. That's still a daily task. Phew. But more so like worrying about how I'm gonna get there, worrying about when I'm gonna get there, and being like, well, God, you told me, that I would be here, and it hasn't happened yet. So like when you try to ask God so many questions, yes, you can ask him questions, of course, but when you ask him so many questions about like the logistics behind what he told you, it can cause you to turn inward and to want to take more control than you actually should, when you really just trust him and just do the work. And even in the process of doing that work, if you make a mistake or do something, God will get you back on track. You'll get back on track, right? But it takes the worry out of it because you're at peace with knowing I'm going to get there when I need to get there. I'm at this mile marker. I'm at this stop. I'm on this route for a particular reason. And when you stick your guns to that, it gives you a sense of peace and honestly confidence. And so those are just some of the important reasons why I feel like it's important to be at peace with your pace. And so as we talk about those, what's the big question? Okay, well, you say all that, yada, 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 woody, woody, woo, but how do I get to that place of peace. Of course, define what it looks like for you, like I said. But the biggest thing, and I've got these arranged in order. The last two can be interchanged, but this first one is like boom, boom, concrete, Yeah. So the first way to be at peace with your pace is to trust God. I know that's I know that's easier said than done. Life is life. And no matter how much God, or I'll put me into it. I know that sometimes no matter how much like I'm sure about what God's told me and what I'm sure he's placed on my spirit about my life, there are times where it's like other people may be doing the same thing I'm doing and are further along, or you for lack of better words, and y'all will know what I mean. You just see people making it, point blank, period. You see people younger than you making it. You see people older than you making it. And it's like when you see the people that's older than you making it, it's like, well, it's never too late. And then you see the people younger than you making it, and it's like, baby, I got to do some sprinting. I'm over here doing a brisk walk 3.0. I need to be running. But then you run and then you mess around and trip and fall. Now you got a scab. Now you done hurt yourself. Now you crying. Now it's like, is trusting God is the best way to just keep your eyes straight forward. Not that you're oblivious to when you have like detours and stuff, or just when things get off track, but that peace comes with trusting him. God's given each and every one of us our own timing, like I said, our own race and our own journey. And being at peace with that, a part of that comes with embracing it and knowing that, okay, if this journey, if this race, if this purpose, if this assignment is tailor-made for me, timing, logistics, all of that, even the finish line, even the reward, if all of that is tailor-made for me, then I need to trust and know that I'm here for a reason, that the pace that I'm at, that I'm running that pace for a reason. Yes, I have people along with me to help me. Yes, there are other people who are making it. There are other people who may be behind me. But no matter which way it goes, I trust God and know that even when I get off track, he'll put me back where I need to be. And even when I'm far ahead, he'll show me what I've done to optimize the race that I'm running and just to be efficient. And I think trust ultimately comes with asking God to reassure you, but also y'all reassuring yourself. There's nothing wrong with reassuring and affirming yourself and knowing that, okay, I may be down today. I may have not ran my race good today, but I know that ultimately I can get back on track. With God, anything is possible, and that you can keep striding toward your reward, towards your goal. Keep embracing the journey and running your race. And like I said, the hard part comes in when it's just life. Like, I'm not saying social media for my generation is our world, but it's a bulk of the way that we interact. And so when you see people that are running farther ahead, and even when you hear people cheering because they've crossed the finish line and they have their reward, you can be like, dang, I'm not even there yet. Look at it this way. You running your race, you see somebody else that's who is running their race too, but they're in a similar field that you want to be in. Best way I know how to put it. Don't let comparing yourself to them be the reason why you don't have any joy, be the reason why you stop running, be the reason why you get drained, be the reason why you complain, be the reason why you say and ask God, well, why am I not here yet? Be the reason why you think that you're not capable, because all of that isn't true. Try looking at it from a different perspective and saying, okay, they're where I want to be. Even though it's not the exact same thing, I hear people cheering them on now that they finished. You can hear them getting cheered on. See that as them being an example. And if you can hear the cheers now, that means you're getting closer. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of it is just having a different perspective and reframing your mind to look at your race differently. And even if you have to look at other people running their race, how to see that differently. We are all out here just trying to make it. We are all out here trying to make it. It gets raggedy. The terrain gets bumpy. Sometimes it's clear. Sometimes it's going to rain. Sometimes lightning might strike. Sometimes it might be a little thunder. It gets rough out here for everybody. And don't even let me get started on you want to be where somebody else at. You don't know what they had to run. They could have been having to run barefoot and got blisters on their feet. Be careful what you wish for. Worry about what you have going on. But see, like, I asked God, I was like, God, give me a deeper appreciation for the people who are where I want to be. There's no reason for me to be like, oh, well, that means there's not room for me. It's room for everybody. If God has given everybody their own purpose, then why think it's crowded? Why think it's saturated? Sometimes I don't really care for when people say, just my opinion, when they say this market or whatever is oversaturated. Okay, good for everybody has their opinion. That's your opinion. Good to know. But I believe there's a space for everybody and what they're called to be in. And even if it's not, baby, God will make a space for you. I'm not going to get started on that. But just have a deeper appreciation for your journey, and then ask to be not more understanding, but more grateful, and to have a different outlook on other people's journey from when you see that they've made it. Pray and wish them well wishes instead of being like, they made that and I guess ain't no money left for me, or I guess, I need to do something different, or I need to run a different race. No, stay where you are. They are an example that it can be done, and learn from them. That's neither here nor there. I don't want us to be so caught up in looking at what other people are doing and how other people are running their race, because you mess around and be looking so much at their journey to where you mess around and you done tripped and fell and stumbled, and now you got a knot on your head because you've been too busy looking at what they got going on. That got me riled up because I used to be that way, and I'm still working on like the comparison piece, especially as it relates to content. Everybody is doing content now. And I've gotten to a point where I'm like, that is okay. I actually love it to see all these people talking about God, to see all these people doing like fitness, to see all these people doing like motivational stuff. Like, that gives me something to follow. That gives me something to engage with. And I've grown to where I love it now, because that means that they're out here just like me, doing what they love, and there's a space for everybody. There's a space for everybody. There's enough content to go around. There's enough cameras to go around. There's enough of the bag to go around. There's enough space. There's space for everybody. And just trust that God knows that, and trust that he wouldn't call you to where there wasn't a space for you in. Even if he makes one, there's still a space for you. And trust that he knows what's across the finish line. He knows what has helped me to be at peace with running my race in particular, in every aspect of life, is that I know God knows what's across the finish line. I know that he knows my capacity. I know that he knows the trail, the terrain. He knows every single thing about my race far better than I ever could. So if a hill comes up or something, I'm like, baby, I'm winded, I know that just like God is with me right here, he's with me at the top of the hill, and he's with me when I'm panting, trying to run and get up that hill. But like he knows. The best advice I could give you on how to build your trust in God would be to know that he knows. I know it sounds so simple, but when you just know that God literally when you know that God literally knows everything about you and everything about what you have going on and what you're getting into and what you've done, and as it relates to where you're going before you even get into it, like that's what's brought me the most peace. Because it's like, even when I don't know, I can talk to the one that does know. So trust him and know that, find peace in knowing that he knows you better than you. He knows when you can push past your limits. He knows when you need a break. He knows when you need to get back up and keep going. So trust him. And the next thing that I want us to talk about is this one is crucial too. Understand your pace. Please understand your pace. And all of this is going to kind of tie back to not comparing, because another downfall that we may have, and that I've been guilty of having too, is like, okay, you running a race, like you got a nice little brisk little walk or brisk little jog going on, right? And then you see old girl next to you, and baby, I mean, she is going, she is sprinting, and then you look over here and you see old boy, he is like, you know, y'all be seeing them videos where they had them running them treadmills at like 17. They're like athletes, but they have them running at like 17.5 miles per hour, like up to 20. That's what he running. And so it's like, these people on both sides of me are going faster than me, so I need to speed up too. Understand your pace. You trying to run at the speed that other people are running at will have you in a tizzy. Do not do that to yourself. I believe when we try to run at other people's pace, or when we try to do what other people are doing, you don't give yourself an opportunity to learn you. You don't give yourself an opportunity to acknowledge the unique things about you that are helping you to keep going and to keep running your race, excuse me. And your pace is your stride. Like, even if you don't know your pace, even if you don't know your stride yet, that's one of the beautiful parts of the journey. Learn it. You know when you're moving too fast, and you know when you get winded. You know what gets you to the point of when you get drained. You also know when you're moving too slow, or when you say to yourself, okay, like I could really be more efficient. I'm really beating around the bush. I'm being lackadaisical. I'm being lazy. You know what you need to do to pick that up. You also know when you're at a pace where it's like comfortable, and then you know when you're at a pace where it's like, this is the epitome of efficiency for me, to where I know I could push past it a little bit if I want to, and to where I could slow down a little bit to where I could still, you know what your pocket is. And even if you don't, do a little trial and error of each one and see where you're the most efficient you at. But I definitely wouldn't say the worst way to understand yourself is to look at someone else. Don't look at somebody else and think that's going to give you a play-by-play of what you should do. Y'all are two completely different people. I can't look at somebody else that's doing content and be like, oh, well, I saw she used this font, this editing software, she records like this, and she does X niche or whatever. First of all, I don't even like that. I don't like that topic. And like, you just kind of end up putting yourself in a bind when you try to do what other people are doing, or when you try to do life how other people are doing it because it works for them. Now, I'm not talking about I'm not saying don't learn from people. That's different. Where you see like a technique that could work for you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you see this person and they done finished, or they're running their race and they're far ahead of you, and you're saying, oh, let me completely just forget me, forget who I am, let me do what they're doing. There's no beauty in that, because you don't really learn anything about yourself. And the biggest thing too is that when you understand your pace, it brings confidence. And that's one of the, I think peace brings confidence too. But when you have peace in your pace, you have a level of confidence to where when other people are running ahead of you, you don't see it as a hit to your competence, because it's not. My stride is my stride, their stride is their stride. And a prime example is like when two people are running. If you know you're not, if I know I'm not an avid runner and I go running with my friend that maybe they've been running for years, right? Why am I about to run at the same pace that they're running at? Let's say we run 2 miles and I've ran 6 times in the last 6 months, and I'm going to go out here and try to be on the same stride that they're on. Baby, I'm going to be on the ground. In this heat, I'm going to be on the ground. So like that same thing applies. It's like, that's not, you didn't, and it's not even based off the fact that you didn't do the work that they did, but y'all have two completely different bodies. What works for them doesn't work for you, and what works for you doesn't work for them. But if I'm running with that same friend and I'm running at my pace and they're running at theirs, and we both reached the finish line, we both reached it. You reaching it before me has nothing to do with my worth. We both made it across the finish line. I just understand that I have my pace and you have yours. So please just understand, just know what works for you. And I really believe that's what brings confidence, because when you ground yourself in that, you hold true to it and you understand it. And it also comes with understanding that everybody is operating in their pace, or at least the pace that they think is best for them in whatever season they're in. And the last thing too, that I believe is also important when it just comes to having peace in your pace is, honestly, out believing in yourself. I know it sounds like, but believe in yourself and know that you're worthy and capable of finish. Speak life into yourself as you're on your journey. Speak and affirm yourself. I'm worthy of finishing. I know I may not be where I want to be, but I'm where I'm supposed to be. I know that I may have messed up. I know I may have gotten off track here and there, but I am still running. I am still capable of finishing. Be thankful that you're alive to still be able to run your race, and know that, like I said, when it tied into trusting God, know that you're running your race for a reason. And I think another thing that would help us too is knowing that your race, even though you're the one that's finishing, even though you're the you're the one that's receiving the reward and maybe receiving the cheers, it's bigger than you. There is somebody that is relying on you to finish. There are people that are tied to you finishing, and there are people watching you run your race, whether you know it or not. We have a figurative baton that each of us are holding, that when we finish our race, whether it be to your kids, whether it be to your future children, no matter what, or just people around you that you don't even think are watching, you are passing the baton to people who you don't even know see you running your race, to the people who see you getting up each time, to people see you enduring, to people who see you enduring, to people who see you pushing past your limits, yes, but people who see you persevering. There are people tied to that. There are people who are relying on you to finish, and there are people that God's placed in our lives to help us to run our race, yes, but there are also people that he strategically placed on the sidelines who are seeing you run, who are seeing you hit each checkpoint, who are seeing you, like I said, persevering. So to where it's an example to them that it can be done, that they can finish, or that they can even start, and that something can be ignited or reignited in them to persevere themselves. So I don't just say all of this in the means of it being self-serving. To an extent, yes, it's good for you, but it's also for a bigger purpose for the kingdom of God, and two, for the people coming up behind you. And that speaks volumes in itself. And that is why I believe it is important for us to be at peace with our pace and our race too, because each individual person has so many other people tied to them that they don't even see. You have people tied to you. I have people tied to me that I don't even see. And it's predicated upon me doing this podcast, predicated upon me making content, predicated upon me just walking in my purpose, no matter how that looks in different seasons of my life. And fulfilling that is important, asking God to help you through that and trusting that he will, and knowing that he sees it all is a part of it. And that's why I want you guys to really strive to have peace with your pace, because it's so much tied into it. And that's one of the many beautiful things that's incorporated into it. And I just want you all to know that you are worthy of finishing, that you're capable of finishing. Even if you trip, even if you fall, even if you fell off, you are capable and worthy of finishing. You are strong enough to get back up and finish, even though it doesn't feel like it. And even though it may not look like it, you are strong enough to get back up. You are capable. You are worthy. You are more than competent. And even if you hear outside noise coming at you while you're running, let me tell you, it's all hoopla. What? It's hoopla. I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. Don't mind none of that. I would have touched on that, but I want this to be encouraging. I'm not gonna get carried away. But even with the outside noise, y'all, what is going on? Even with the outside noise, there's purpose in that too. Don't let it get to you. Might just be a little hater, but anywho, that's for another day. You are more than capable. Don't worry about the outside noise. You are more than capable of finishing. You are more than worthy of getting up, and you are strong enough to get up. And pull from God if you feel like you're not strong enough to get up. And even though like running our race, and even though the whole idea of everything being tailor-made is one of the main points in having peace with your pace, get into that place of peace. That process looks different for everybody, but I don't want that to deter us from striving for said peace. And it produces resilience in us, y'all, whether we see it or not, whether we are aware of it or not. It produces endurance. It produces resilience. And I just want you to know that you can finish. I didn't say all this for it to go in and out the ear and to be void. I truly want y'all to know that this race that you're running, that you can finish. No matter when you're listening to this episode, in the morning, in the evening, if you listen to it while you're working out, know you can finish. I know you probably in there grunting on the last set, but that is okay. You can finish. But yes, you're amazing. You are amazing. You are on this journey for a reason. It's for you, but it's bigger than you. Yes, you will see the reward. I pray that you will. But just know that there are people that are attached to it too, and that this will show you a different side of yourself that you've never seen, and you're worthy of seeing the best version of yourself. So run your race, be at peace with your pace, trust that God has you right where you need to be, and he'll take you to where you need to go. Understand your stride, understand your pace, and believe in yourself, and know that I believe in you. You are capable, and you are worthy of finishing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Mindful Moments. I will see you guys probably. I may do a bonus episode. Don't want to get overzealous, but I may do a bonus episode. I'll keep y'all posted. But thank you guys for tuning into another episode. Keep running your race. Stay encouraged. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mindful Moments. I want y'all to remember this. Take it one step at a time. Know that you're capable. Know that you're worth it. Be intentional and know that everything you need to accomplish the things you want is already inside of you. But look, y'all, the podcast doesn't end here, okay? Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at O_Jada. That's O with 3 H's _JADA. You can see the visuals from past episodes and segments, and maybe even some teasers for upcoming episodes. And be sure to follow and like Mindful Moments on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and even Google Podcasts. And as you go through your day, remember to be mindful of today in hopes for a better tomorrow. I'll see you in the next episode.